Praise the Lord, everybody. This is Evangelist Marcus Watts. I just want to address something really quick about the importance of about why African Americans have a hard time voting for the Republican Party or voting for either party. And people have brought up the abortion situation, but I want to bring this up to people who are not of color that do not understand why godly African Americans vote Democrat on a regular basis. The reason for that is because a lot of Republicans, not all, I want to make that clear, but a lot of Republicans have justified African Americans and people of color being shot by corrupt police officers. There's been a lot of incidents that, you know, a lot of Republicans have enabled white supremacy by justifying white supremacy. And it didn't help either that our now president, who's a Republican, actually got up years ago and said he was an admirer of Robert E. Lee, which Robert E. Lee was a white supremacist and a traitor to this country who wanted my African American ancestors to remain as slaves in this country. That's why he betrayed the country, because he wanted my African American ancestors to remain as slaves, period. He didn't want them to have freedom. So the Confederate flag, when the president says he admires the Confederate flag and admires Robert E. Lee, that's a red flag. And when we got a president who actually told the Proud Boys to stand back, stand by during the presidential debate, it actually referred to the neo-Nazis in Charlottesville years ago, along with the peaceful protesters, as very fine people. There's something wrong with that picture. Okay, there's something deeply wrong with that picture. So when that happens, we have to re-examine ourselves, say, who can we vote for? Because one, if an African American in recent times voted for Biden, for president like Biden, yes, they're voting for a man who supports, abortion up to childbirth, up to birth, which is a big no-no, is wicked. Abortion is wicked anyway, but it's definitely wicked when it's up to childbirth. But then if you vote for President Trump from African American or person of color's perspective, who's godly, then you're voting for a man who not only enables white supremacy into deceiving white supremacists into thinking they can attack people of color, but he's also enabled it into thinking that they can actually murder people of color, which you're still supporting murder on that, if you want to be technically correct like that. So until the Republican Party as a whole stops justifying unarmed people of color being murdered and people uh, uh, and stops justifying white supremacy, period, believe it or not, a lot more African Americans will start voting Republican again. A lot more than what people can imagine. And a lot of people don't understand this. So I'm going to flip the script here about why African Americans and people of color got upset with President Trump saying stand back and stand by, and why he got upset with why a lot of people got upset with him when he referred to neo-Nazis as very fine people back in the 2017. So I'm going to pretend I'm Governor Watts. If I got up as Governor Watts, let's say I'm the Governor Watts in the state of Arizona, okay? And I'm going to be a Republican, not a Democrat. I'm technically an independent conservative. I don't like either party, but I'm going to just pretend I'm a Republican. And we have black nationalists marching down the street, chanting something twisted, saying, "Whites shall die and burn in hell. Whites shall die and burn in hell." And then I get up as Governor Watts. After I see that, I get up as Governor Watts and refer to the peaceful protesters and a black nationalist that chant that, and I say, "Oh, what you had were very fine people on both sides," and I refer to black nationalists along with the peaceful protesters chanting "White should die and burn in hell." I'm just using that for example, as very fine people. Or if I get up as Governor Watts and I say I'm an admirer of Elijah Muhammad, which Elijah Muhammad hated white people when he was alive. He hated white people with a passion, and I say I'm an admirer of Elijah Muhammad, and then I get up and say um, I admire the modern day Black Panther. And then if I'm debating against Governor Watts as a Republican, and they say you've not rebuked black nationalists properly, or something like that, and I say, "Oh, name one of the black nationalists, the modern day Black Panther," and then I get up right on the spot saying, "Modern day Black Panther, stand back and stand by." If I had done any of that as Governor Watts, believe me, a lot of Caucasian Christians would not have taken that well. They would not have been able to support me with ease, which I don't blame them from that perspective if I had done that. That's how African Americans people felt when President Trump did that. So please keep that in mind. It's one thing if President Trump hadn't have enabled white supremacy, and then people brought up the argument about the abortion. It's a totally different story. But when you have a president enable white supremacy and deceive white supremacists into thinking that he's on their side like that, and said that he's an admirer of a traitor to the country, and admires the Confederate flag, which the Confederate flag does not represent the United States of America, there's a problem. So please keep that in perspective of why African Americans have a hard time voting for the Republican Party the last 40 years, especially the last 20 years. Keep that in mind, okay? So my encouragement to my Republican friends who want to see African Americans who are truly godly vote Republican, pray that there will be a Republican candidate come in there that's truly a true conservative, that's not going to justify unarmed people of color being shot, who's not going to justify white supremacy, and who's truly pro-life, period, in general. Because that ever happens, believe it or not, a whole lot of black people. People thought they saw a lot of black people vote Republican this year. It's going to be 100 times more voting Republican if that ever happens. Believe me, I can see that happening. Anyway, thank you all very much. May y'all have a blessed day. Hopefully this video will open people's eyes up about why African Americans had a hard time voting Republican these recent years. And hopefully this will open people's eyes up to pray for a Republican candidate that's a true conservative according to the Republican Party, but most importantly according to the Bible. Anyway, y'all have a blessed night, and blessed day and night, and blessed rest of the weekend. Thank you. Bye.